Bro, this car sounds insane. So what you're looking at right now is the aftershock. This is what happens when you take the legendary N54 engine and finally let it breathe. The sound, the response, the sheer power. It's a totally different car, but it sure didn't start this way. It started right here, a bone stock car in one simple goal. Take this 335 from factory fresh to full bolt-on. And we're doing it all at once. Downpipes, intercooler, charge pipe, and the dreaded turbo inlets. This is the whole journey. I'm going to show you exactly how we get from this to that. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. If you're here, you probably know the N54 engine in this E92 335 is a beast just waiting to be woken up. And the keys to waking it up, right on this toolbox. This is basically the full bolt-on starter kit. Intercooler, charge pipe, downpipes, and high-flow relocated inlets. But before we chase any power, we have to talk about the boring stuff. In the N54 world, you live and die by maintenance. This car has already had the big three sorted. New injectors, spark plugs, and coils, plus a fresh walnut blast. You can't chase 400 horsepower if you've been skipping leg day, you know? Today is all about airflow. We're going to remove every single bottleneck BMW put in place, starting at the front and working our way to the back. Let's get this car in the air and start wrenching.
Yeah. In my blick, it can't get in with me, then shit that ain't going.
The teardown is pretty involved. Engine cover, stock airbox, it all has to go. Then the real fun begins. The biggest pain I'm not looking forward to is taking the stock rear inlet out. It takes this ridiculous path behind the engine. A lot of people just cut it out to save their sanity. We're going to try to be civilized and just lower the subframe, maybe, but I think I'm gonna cut it. The army of 8mm bolts holding this plastic under tray on has to go. Get your sockets ready, you'll be here a minute. Also, you already know we're gonna remove the passenger wheel. Whenever you guys go to remove the fan, if you have a oil cooler right here attached to the fan, you wanna remove this T25 here. Now it's time to take out the front inlet. First, you have to remove the fan just to give yourself some room, and then you'll see two bolts. Now that I took the fan out, I'm gonna move on to the front inlet. To remove this inlet, there's a couple coolant hoses in the way, but essentially there are two Torx, one right here, one right here. Let me see if I can move this hose. Yeah, you guys can see it right there. Remove those two, wiggle it out, and you should be good to go. We could remove the charge pipe. Then we could go to the bottom of the car to remove the cats and the rear inlet. I'm telling you guys right now, I was fighting this thing to get it out, but there it is. The next common issue that has to go is the charge pipe. We all know that these crack from high boost application, so we're gonna remove this just to save a headache. All right, guys, now it's time to remove the rear inlet and the downpipes. Okay, guys, now just like the front inlet, there are two T30s. You can't really see them here, but they're back there. They're annoying to get to. You need 1/4 inch to reach them, something real thin. It sucks, but those are loose. The crankcase hose I took off. Also, I unplugged the O2 sensors. So now we are ready to remove the stock cats and remove the rear inlet. Wow, this is the first time these nuts came out without snapping. Insane. All right, I'm feeling pretty good about things. Now for the part of the install everyone loves to hate, the downpipes. These are the single biggest quirk in the N54's exhaust, and swapping them out unlocks a massive amount of power and sound. But this car makes you earn it. Well, the space is limited. That's the nice way to say it. To even see the V-band clamps on the turbos, the steering rack has to be unbolted and pushed forward. You'll need a set of eTorque sockets for this. But before you touch a single bolt, douse those V-band clamps and the O2 sensors in penetrating oil. Let it soak, go get a coffee, walk your dog. Seriously, don't skip this step. Now for the main event, the V-band clamps. They are buried way up there, so you'll need a collection of extensions and swivels. Getting them loose is one of the challenges. Fishing them out is a whole other level of frustration. Once the clamps are out, you can finally wiggle the stock cats free. The moment you hold them next to these 3-inch catless VRSF downpipes, you see exactly where all the power has been hiding. Getting the new pipes in is a game of angles and patience. The rear pipes is the harder one of the two, so it's best to install that one first. With some careful twisting and leaving everything loose until the very end, you can get them positioned perfectly without rattling on the subframe. It's a slow, annoying process, but when they're finally bolted up, you know it's all about to pay off. That black plastic piece right there is the inlet. There's two ways I could do it. I could just try to pull it out from the top, or I can cut it right here and then just pull it from the top as well. That's the easiest way. All right, now what this relocation kit is, it moves the air intakes to the passenger side of the vehicle. So what has to move is the coolant reservoir. It goes on this side. It does get relocated, as well as the power steering fluid reservoir. It goes right here next to the alternator. So let me do that now. Just like the downpipes on the hot side, the stock inlets are a massive restriction on the cold side. They're made of this plastic that gets squished into a tiny pancake shape, literally choking the turbos of air they're begging for. This is probably the most tedious job of them all. We're putting in the VRSF relocated inlet kit, which means we have to move the coolant reservoir and vacuum canisters to make room for smooth 2-inch pipes that run all the way to the turbos. The teardown is pretty involved. Then the real fun begins. Unbolting and shifting the coolant and power steering tanks to create space where there isn't any. If you guys watched my last videos, you know about this Chargepipe O-ring. Do not forget about this. Now that the stock Chargepipe is removed, we can talk about it. This thing is infamous for cracking even on stock boost. It's not a matter of if it will fail, but when. Getting it out means fighting the C-clip on the throttle body. A little bit of lube and a whole lot of wiggling are your best friends here. This upgraded Chargepipe is a beautiful piece of aluminum. This isn't just an upgrade, it's insurance for what comes next. All right, now to relocate the coolant reservoir, you have to remove this top coolant hose. We have to cut it because the reservoir is going to be right here. Also, this hose down here on the bottom of the reservoir, I don't know if you guys can see it now. On the bottom of the reservoir, we have to cut that as well because we're going to be using the hoses that are provided with the kit to put a 90-degree fitting to move the coolant hose this way. I'll show you guys. Okay, now you want to remove this bottom hose, and then you will see a plug for the coolant level sensor on the bottom of the reservoir. This is the sensor I was talking about. Now next, what you want to do is grab your mounting bracket and move on over to mounting the coolant reservoir on the driver's side. All right, now that I moved the coolant reservoir from over here to the driver's side, I got it mounted with the two 10mm bolts provided by VRSF. Now it's time to take this hose. Oh, you guys can't see it. It's time to take this hose. We're gonna cut it around, somewhere around like right here. I like to give myself a little play. And then we are going to add these hoses with the 90 to relocate that coolant hose to the reservoir. All right, so on the other end of this hose, this is the bar fitting they provide to connect it to the coolant hose from the thermostat. The 90 actually goes on the rear inlet, but I'll show you guys that later. Okay, now that the coolant relocation is done, let me zip tie this hose to one of the AC lines. That's usually where I put it. It's much cleaner, and then I'll show you guys how it looks after. All right, now for this hose right here, all you have to use is this end piece. Take this clamp off right here, get rid of this right here, hook it up right there, and you can cut this to length and still use this clamp. I'll show you right now. Coolant reservoir relocation is finished. Now let's get to the inlets and the downpipe. And let's not forget the intercooler. That's the easy part.
like now, I need you.
Let's get these sensors swapped over. Okay, before I lift the car up, I'm going to install the rear inlet. I usually spray this with soap and water, get it all lubed up. It helps getting it through that tight spot on the side of the engine. Hey, yo! I'm telling you, make sure to spray soap and water. If not, you're gonna be fighting this all day. Okay guys, now this is where you want the inlet right here. This is the time to slip on the clamp and then you can put it on the turbo and tighten it. Rear inlet is finally done. Now trust me, honestly, removing the stock intercooler isn't the hardest part. It's muscling in the new intercooler into place without crushing the fins and getting those silicone couplers on just right. Trust me, this is a job you only want to do once. After a lot of shoving, a few busted knuckles, and probably a drop clamp or two, it slides home. And man, it looks so good peeking out from behind the bumper. Okay, we are officially over the hump. The biggest, most annoying parts are on the car. If you're finding this useful or maybe just enjoying watching me struggle, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. The transformation is only going to get better from here and you won't want to miss it. With the old ones gone, the new silicone inlets can be snaked into place. Getting the clamp on the rear turbo is done completely by feel. You're basically reaching your arm into a black hole and hoping you find the spot. Once they're on, you start putting the puzzle back together, finding new homes for the coolant tank and vacuum canisters. This job will test your patience like no other, but the gain from letting the turbos breathe properly are huge. So there you have it. One car, one garage, one 335 that's full bolt time. We fought seized bolts, worked in impossible spaces, and definitely questioned our life choices a few times. But the result is a 335i that has finally woken up. Thanks for coming along for the ride. I hope this was helpful or at least entertaining. If you have any questions about the install, drop them in the comments below. I'll do my best to get back to every single one. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and get subscribed for the next one.